Hi, we continue into sexual reproduction. So, sexual reproduction is the fusion of sperm and egg. The creation of offspring by the fusion of male and female gametes to form a zygote. The female gamete is called the egg. The male gamete is the sperm. These are the advantages and disadvantages of asexual and sexual reproduction. Let's see for the asexual reproduction. The advantage is even a single individual can reproduce. These organisms, they do not need a mate to reproduce. They can produce many offspring at one time, but this mode of reproduction may result in little or no genetic variation. Okay, because the offspring are exactly the same as their parent. For sexual reproduction, they increase genetic variation among the offspring because when the sperm and egg fuse together, they also will undergo the process of meiosis. In meiosis process, there is an interchange of genetic material between the father and the mother. Okay, and then the sexual reproduction can enhance reproductive success in changing environment, but the problem is they have a problem in locating a mate. Sometimes some organisms they find difficulties in finding a mate. Now we go into reproductive cycles and pattern. Most animals exhibit cycle in reproductive activity. So this is often related to changing season. So seasons play a vital role, okay, in reproduction for certain organisms. For example, animals need conserve resources. They can reproduce only when the environmental conditions are favored with the survival of the offspring. For example, like tortoise. Okay, tortoise need a certain climate such as spring and summer season to make a courtship with their mate. Okay, so that is the season where the tortoise is likely to courtship with the mate. Okay, and that is known as their reproductive season. Okay, so that is meaning by this slide, reproductive cycle and their pattern. So the reproductive cycles are controlled by hormones and also environmental cues. For example, changes in day length, seasonal temperature, rainfall, and etc. So all of these will contribute to the reproductive success. Okay, now we go into hermaphroditism. What is hermaphroditism? This is a sexual reproduction present a special problem for certain organisms. Only certain organisms are having this. Usually the organism will seldom encounter a mate. Okay, this type of organism they have difficulties. Okay, difficulties in finding a mate. So how this organism can solve their problem? Okay, so they are under hermaphroditism. What is hermaphroditism? This organism has both male and female reproductive system. So any two individuals, either they are female or male, that is not considered at all. Okay, because they have both. So if they find a partner, they can mate. Okay, that is the meaning by hermaphrodite. They have both the reproductive system. Okay, now sequential hermaphroditism. So this is referring to organism like a coral reef fish, bluehead wrasse. Okay, this individual or this organism, they can reverse their sex organ during their lifetime. So this is a situation. Okay, these coral reef, they live in a group. Normally in that group only has one male fish and several female fish. Okay, when the male dies, what happened to the female? So usually the oldest female fish, okay, usually the oldest fish is the biggest one. Okay, so the largest one. So this oldest female fish will turn into a new male. Okay, they will turn into a new male, but it takes about 1 week for this transformed organism from female to male to produce sperm. Okay, within a week, this transformed individual will produce their sperm instead of egg. So this is the sequential hermaphroditism. The example is bluehead wrasse. Now we go into parthenogenesis. Okay, so this parthenogenesis also belong to the alternation of asexual and sexual reproduction, a process in which an egg develops without being fertilized. The example is bee. So all the eggs are the clone of the mother, which is similar to their mother. The example like arthropods, any arthropods like grasshopper, okay, and some species of lizard. Okay, so these are the comparison of sexual and asexual reproduction. Okay, let's see the reproduction method. Parent. For asexual, they have single parent, of course. For sexual, they must have two, the female or male or hermaphrodites, also considered as sexual reproduction. For the gamete, for asexual, they do not produce gamete, okay, because they can develop without fusion of sperm and egg. But for sexual, they need the sperm and egg. Meiosis doesn't occur in asexual reproduction because the meiosis, the product of meiosis is the sperm or the egg, okay, the haploid, haploid sperm and the haploid egg. In asexual, there is no gametes, but in sexual, there is meiosis. Progeny, also known as offspring. The progeny from asexual reproduction normally identical to their parent, but for sexual reproduction, there is variation compared to their parent. Okay, for internal and external fertilization. So this is fertilization. The meaning is the union of egg and sperm. So we have internal fertilization which happen inside the body parent, and external fertilization which happen outside of the body parent. So the main function of fertilization, why we do this fertilization, why fertilization happen, to bring the haploid nuclei of sperm and egg to form a diploid zygote. So that is the main function of fertilization. So when the sperm and egg being contact together, okay, the sperm, when it contact to the surface of the egg, it will trigger the metabolic reaction within the egg, and the embryonic development is started. Okay, once the sperm attached to the egg, the embryonic development will be started.